Friday, guys. Happy Friday. We survived. We made it to the end of the week. What
Hell
is
yeah.
going
Yeah,
on?
that was definitely questionable a couple times this week
Yeah,
too.
yeah. There's a story to be told there. That is absolutely 100% sure. It has been we have commiserated with each other in private, and it has been a hell of a fucking week for everybody. Um, so I'm glad we made it here. We're gonna have some fun tonight. Got adult beverages in my system. We're gonna talk some nerd shit. We're gonna look at some nerd stuff. We're all gonna stare at Derek staring blankly at his camera. I think he forgot to take his Centrum Silver, so he's a little off kilter tonight. Um, yeah, that's right. We bring back the old jokes, folks. That's what we're here for. Um, we got we down a couple folks. We got a brought in a one of our bench warmers. We got him in here. He's been popping up around on some of the shows on the realm. So we figured we reach out and be like, hey, he's got to set up an actual professional setup. See if he wants to come on here and show his pretty mug and talk some nerd shit with us. So going with that, we want to say what's up to Mr. Marble. How are you doing,
Hey,
sir?
yo. Hey, I'm doing good. Professional setup. I don't know if I qualified as that, but at least it's a radio voice built for somebody. Uh, yeah, and glad to be. Thanks for the invite. Yeah, we had a hell of a week. Not only not as bad as some of the other on the team, and I'll let them get into that. But it's just busy as hell. And then we had a graduation. Graduated our last child that will likely graduate. That's 5 out of 6. So we are feeling pretty happy about that. And congratulations to Zach. And we're proud of you, man. And
Shout out to the young Marble. Congratulations, young man.
the young Sim.
Oh, Sim. Sorry. Apologize.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's all right. It's all good. It's all good. We're the blended Brady bunch.
You're all Marble.
For those of you on TikTok and are not are not participating in the ban, you've probably noted the black glow up, the I married a black girl, and what I look like before and after. Unfortunately, I have very little of that glow up, so I'm still the same dweeb that I was when she married.
I think what it is you're actually like a really cool, great looking dude, but Miss Andrea is so cool and so pretty that it just kind of makes you. Um,
Oh, I
don't take.
married up. That's for sure.
I ain't gonna take that from you. I'll argue with you about a lot of shit, but not that one. Well, we appreciate you coming on, man. We love you here and glad you could reach out to you and you said yes, man. We do appreciate that.
Absolutely. And cheers, everyone. Chat
Yes,
squad.
sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I got my Jameson going. It's been that week, man. We're doubling up here. Look at this guy with his fucking water. Fucking crazy. That's
Staying healthy. Staying
fucking
healthy.
wild, dude.
Keeping that voice.
I mean, you're already like
I'm
200.
staying healthy.
How fucking
I'm
healthy
giving
you?
my liver a workout. Like,
That's right. That's right. If you don't use your muscles, you lose your muscles. See, this keeps my liver pumping, man.
Nope. I don't lose my muscles, so
Yeah. So let's
gotta
let's
keep them intact.
let's drop down to my dude down here, Old Man River over here, and say what's up to Derek B. See, look, I tried, man. That hurt my throat a little. I don't know how you fucking do that all
See,
the time.
that's why you need your water.
Nah,
So what's up, everybody? Yeah, that's why you need it. So take notes, people, and that's what you need water for, to keep your vocal cords nice and good to
humming.
go. So yeah, because in case you need to raise that volume, you'll be able to do so. But what's up, y'all? How y'all be? Good
uh,
week.
how's your moms and them's? We going old school. How's your moms and them's? We good.
Everyone is doing well, man. Everyone's doing well. It's that time of the year. Scott was talking about it. Graduation season. Uh, Also, Father's Day season is coming up, and that usually mixes together. But more important, right now, we got graduation season coming up. I'm particularly excited about it because my son Ricky, not you, but my other son
Hey,
Ricky,
Dad.
and he's graduating college tomorrow. So
Well, congratulations,
Hey,
to my
very,
congrats.
namesake.
Congrats to
we're,
him.
thank
Congrats to
you.
my namesake. You're welcome for
Yeah,
it.
we're very, very, very excited about that. He worked really hard to, get this done, and actually, he's going to be going back to school in
Nice.
September, going for his bachelor's,
Someone's
and
they're
he's
just gluttons for punishment, man.
hey man, he's loving it, and then the beautiful thing about that is, it's just like
You
work,
ain't
like
paying for
working,
it.
huh? Y-
I said it's a
Kids get
beautiful thing.
paid.
You ain't paying for it.
I wish I was. I wish I wasn't paying for it, but I guess I am. So, but he loves what he does, and the chosen career path he's going, it's not even, it doesn't even seem like work to him, and he's just getting it done, going through it, and couldn't be more prouder of him. This is my second son who is getting ready, who just got his associate's degree. He's going for his bachelor's this year. My oldest son, he's a psychologist, and he has 2 degrees. He has 3 degrees. I forgot about that. Yeah, he's got 3 degrees. So yeah, that smartness just, it runs through. I'm proud of my boys. I'm proud of my girls too. Y'all met my girls as well. And
Speaking of Derek, I seem to have seen a picture this week that was somewhat interesting, and I wonder if you could maybe explain it to us. It was you lying back in a chair with some kind of face mask on, facial. Can you?
so yeah, that was the start of my week actually. So my daughter and Sean gets together and they have these ideas and they want to do these. They want to involve me in some of the things that they're doing. They were doing facials and they were trying these new facial products and they wanted me to help
Be the
them
guinea
out,
pig.
if you will. Exactly. So they got me in the chair, had me sit back, and they was putting these things. Now I had no idea at first about the spray. I knew they had the spray water on my face, but I didn't know. I didn't know that it was a strong direct spray, like because it made me think about water hoses for some reason. And it was just like, yo, it's too much. Because when they the way they were supposed to do it, it was supposed like it's supposed to be like a mist that like drizzles down on your face and then gets on the thing and then it's supposed to melt on your face and then you rub it in and all that good stuff. But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. I was just like, yo, I'm not having fun anymore. And then after
You got the
after that whole
opportunity
thing
to know
finished.
what it really
I
felt
don't
like
know.
to be a woman.
I don't know. It sounds like a good Friday night to me, man.
Look, I'm not trying to do it again. I tell you that. I told her, I said, yeah, nah, go get your brother. Y'all do this. Y'all do this with him.
First of all,
I'm
shame
not
on you
doing
for
this.
blaming your wife and daughter for doing something you've always wanted to do. Shame on you, sir. Shame on you. Secondly, so to
I've
speak, everything that just came out of your fucking mouth, dude, that was fucking wild as hell, dude. Like that was
so
wild.
man, but
He
yeah,
he just
I think
described a
where'd
Friday
you see
night
it
with
on?
Rocky.
Where'd you see it on Sean's Facebook page? I know you didn't see that on mine. I was like,
No,
nah.
he hides that shit. He ain't
He
telling the whole
recorded
world.
the she recorded the entire thing, and I think that was just a clip of what he's doing. She actually recorded the whole thing, so I told her to delete it.
That's
So
that.
yeah,
That's blackmail video right there, bro. She gonna get something out of that. It's gonna be a
man,
bracelet, a necklace, or something out of that motherfucker.
yeah, nah, we're gonna I'm gonna burn that phone. It's gonna
It's in the
it's gonna
cloud,
be
bro. It's in the
it's gonna be
cloud. You
in
can't burn the
history.
cloud.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But no, and in addition to that, it was actually a rough week. It
I'm
was a
messaging
rough
her right
week.
now. Tell me to send me that video.
Mhm.
But Sean, I
Then
need this video ASAP.
broadcast live.
Got it. Okay.
Breaking
But
news
no, it was
on Manhattan
Sorry to
Project.
cut you off, man. You're starting your week out. I'm sorry, bud.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much a rough week, rough work week for me, but got through it, and we are here now, so I'm looking forward to starting my weekend.
Mhm.
And in addition to doing the graduation tomorrow, Sunday, I plan on going to the 40th anniversary of the Transformers G1
Bro,
episodes that
you
they
running
just
late. By the
showing.
time you go, it's gonna be the 41st anniversary, man. You need to get in there and fucking watch it, fake fan.
Look, man, I'm not. So I was gonna do it Wednesday, but work got in the way. That's why I was kind of pissed with work. So work got in the
Understood.
way, and then I couldn't go today because I just had so much going on. Plus, we got the show going on tonight, and tomorrow's not happening because of the graduation. So that's a given. So Sunday
Yeah.
we had planned on just going into the noon show and then catching that. Looking forward to it. I saw a little sneak preview of it, and I'm just like, you know what? It looks pretty cool and exciting because it's kind of what I do. So I'm very interested in regards to that because you got the voice actors actually doing the live script reading of the first episode. So yeah, looking forward to that. So it should be fun. Should be fun. It's just a great way to cap off my weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, Brink said that first one was pretty cool. Like
Hmm.
hearing them do the cast now redo the
Yeah,
voiceovers was pretty cool.
yeah.
So
Saved
pretty
best
cool.
for last, didn't we?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Save the best for last. EE.
Oh, this guy,
Yes.
Oh,
this
you
guy.
hosting now? Slide him in this corner, man. I need to get the
You
fuck out of
know.
here. It's Scott
Yeah.
hosting, man. Look, he
No,
on one
Scott. We
fucking
we
show, and all of a sudden he taking
we
over
have a
goddamn host
host.
fucking capabilities, man. This motherfucker need to relax, man. How do I cornfield somebody? I need this power. Dust. I need the power to cornfield people. I don't need the rest of it. Just cornfield shit, man.
You know what's odd about that is the cornfield was invented
Just for
based
me.
on you,
For me.
and
Captain
now you're
Cornfield.
petitioning to
That's
control the
it.
cornfield.
That's right. I'm gonna start charging
That
rent for
is
all you
now
motherfuckers to
that's
talk to
wild.
Cornfield.
That's wild.
Yeah. So as our host Scott just said, EE, how was your week?
Ah, it's been a week. You know, you know, my company went through another round of layoffs on Monday, so that's always rough to deal with and go through and wait to see if you're part of those layoffs, even if you're not. Watching people you know get cut, that's never fun.
Yeah.
But and things of after that, it's just a madhouse right now. Trying to figure out what's going on, who's reporting to who now, and what, and all that nonsense. So, looks like we got another week of this craziness also, and it is what it is. Look, I hate to see people get laid off. There's nothing funny about it, but I am glad that I was not one of them. No,
That's a
not.
blessing.
Yeah.
I hate to sound. I don't want to sound insensitive to those that were, but I am
It's
relieved
a
that
difference
I'm
between
not.
empathetic. I'm empathetic that to them that got laid off, but I am
Yeah.
because you are somebody that I know and I talk to
But
you and I
what's
talk
what's
to your
what's
family. Like
sometimes I think maybe survivor's guilt comes into play
yeah,
sometimes with this
I got
also.
you.
You know.
Like oh, I made it, but so and so didn't. Yeah,
Yeah,
I got
and
you.
so you feel bad about being happy that you still have your job when you know someone else now is has to go through the whole process of finding a new job, new company, and starting over all over again. So
Yeah, it's crazy.
it is what it is.
It's totally okay to feel bad for them,
Hmm.
but also be thankful for yourself. So
Exactly.
Mhm,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
In fact, I say that's the right mix of emotions.
mhm.
That's true.
Yeah. So we're here. It's Friday. Week is done.
You,
Thank
you
God.
survived.
Got the weekend.
Mm,
Got a 4 day weekend next week. So definitely use the break.
Yep,
mm.
truly.
Cool.
That's about it. That's after that, just been a pretty quiet week. I didn't get anything in, and you know, got besides a notice for my Wiley kit finally coming in from Super 7.
Yep, finally. So I can have his 90-degree elbow bend piece of shit.
Mhm.
Collecting wise, not much to say, and yeah,
Mm, cool.
Yep.
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
All
I don't
right.
got more. Sorry, I don't got more to talk about this week.
What's the score right now?
41-42.
All right. Everybody in the chat, man, let's get a go Knicks. I don't give a fuck if you like them or not. Let's get it
No,
in the
please
chat.
don't. We don't appreciate fake fans around here. I prefer not. I
I mean, that's
prefer
not
I
true.
prefer
You're a
not.
Mets fan, so I
I
mean.
said fake fans. There's nothing fake about being a Met fan.
Yo, Ricky, how was your week, man?
Fucking long, and I'm glad it's fucking over, man. It's I was telling today was a little shorter, but yesterday when we were talking, I hadn't had a day shorter than 13 and a half hours all week. Um,
Okay.
Most of y'all know I work in a medical facility, and we had our state ACA inspection. And because I'm a manager, I'm required to be there before the inspectors come in every day, and I can't leave until after they leave every day because I'm going to have stand downs to discuss what they talked about all day.
Mm.
So it's been a fucking nightmare, dude. It's been wild. The positive side is the dietary, which I'm the kitchen manager of, and then the CDM is my direct supervisor. She started about a week after me. We reshaped the whole kitchen and fixed it up. Got through, zero tags, zero deficiencies.
Good.
So we went through perfect on it. So
That's what's
proud
up.
of our team and proud of the work we put in there. Um, it's a pretty big deal. It sounds low key because I don't want to get too far into the weeds on it, but that's a pretty big deal because you don't usually walk away unscathed when state comes in. They always find at least one thing to bitch about, even if it's not super important. They find something. So um, proud to have survived that shit. Um, and I'm here now, dude. My oldest tonight is at his 8th grade, which I know to you old motherfuckers that don't sound like shit, but he's at his 8th grade graduation thing down in Orlando. They're at Universal Studios right now with his class.
Mm, yeah.
It's blowing my fucking mind that he's about to be starting high school, man.
I might be old, but I still have the youngest one here. I have a 7 year
Yeah.
old. So
that is true. That is
Yeah. And
true.
my daughter, Gabby, hers is next week. Her eighth
Man,
grade dance is next week.
it's blowing my fucking. No, he had his 8th grade dance like a couple weeks ago. This is the grad night thing for 8th graders. They're down at Universal doing like
Oh
some.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
it's
just a combination of next week. So the dance is in the middle of the week, and then they got the trip to um Hershey Park on
yeah.
Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
wild. Like we were talking on the phone last night because it's his mom's weekend, so I don't have him this weekend. So we were talking on the phone, and he was talking to me about some stuff he wants to do over the summer on online classes to help start building towards his. He's trying to finish his AA by 11th grade. Like he's already thinking about this shit. I'm like, dude, you need to fucking relax. Just get into high school before you worry about getting out of high school fast. But he's already thinking about it. He's already talking about classes he wants to take to start knocking down some stuff. And
yeah.
I'm like, cool, let's do it, man. Whatever you want to do. Um, Isaac, like I said, I believe I said last week, he got the all clear, or last show, he got the all clear from the doctors. So he went back to baseball. They finished rec ball in second place for the season. Travel ball, they ended up winning the championship, and he's in all stars right now. And we have our first big tournament this weekend, so he's looking forward to that.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it, man. It boils back down to working baseball again. As you know, now we're outside of that inspection and all that stuff. It'll go back to low key normal a little. It'd be nice to work an 8 hour day and go home. So kind of looking forward to that. It was a rough one this week. It's weird to have sat on there and talked with some of you guys last night, like just a midweek hangout and just commiserate. Like it just seemed like it hit all of us this week. Like all of us got nailed this week.
Yeah,
And
I ain't gonna lie, I needed that last
yeah,
night, though.
it felt as dumb as it sounds. It kind of felt a little better. But like, okay, cool. I'm not the only one down here in the shit this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're all into it this week. Differing
Well,
levels.
by the time I got on last night, you two were already off.
Dude, I had to get back up at 4 o'clock to go to work again. Like I saw you get back on, I was like, dude, I can't. Like I was dead. I don't think I slept more than 4.5 hours all week this week. Like every night. I think that was the max I slept. So, But it was nice to commiserate, see that I wasn't the only one there, because sometimes that sucks when you know you don't ever wish ill on your friends, but when you're the only one down in shit and everybody's like, "Oh, life's fucking great and grand and dandy and everything's fucking amazing and rainbows are shooting out my ass," and you're fucking drowning over here, it kind of sucks ass sometimes.
Yeah.
But we commiserated, we got through it, we talked through it, we boosted each other. We're here tonight to have some fun. Let's get out of this fucking hole that my half drunk ass is taking us into and get back to some fun stuff. We started off earlier, a few episodes, what about 4 episodes or 4 shows ago. We did the start out of the X-Men conversation, and so we were going to circle back to it at the very end to see, kind of, we went with the first episode talking about what we thought was going to happen and how excited we were for it, and now we wanted to come back and, now that it's post the end of the X-Men 97, talk about what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't like, and
Showcase.
I'm excuse you, just about to announce it. So EE is going to do the showcase tonight because we were going to talk about this. He went and dug through his files or his boxes.
Why are you telling them what I'm doing my showcase of before I
Just
do it, Ricky?
Ricky, shut up. EE, go do your showcase. Time for the collector's showcase. Whee!
Time for the collector.
Damn, I forgot we had that one now.
I don't even think that's the right one. It doesn't say showcase on it.
I didn't forget. I did the old one because I liked it.
But yeah, no,
so
I'm.
Ricky doesn't only have that problem in bed; it's also premature here in the show as well.
We're gonna make this one quick tonight. Those that have seen X-Men already, no, not the finale, but the episode before had a pretty significant moment where Magneto ripped adamantium out of Wolverine's skeleton, and that is something that came right out of the comics. Now, but the funny thing about that is, well, for me personally, that is the only comics that I own left are that 6 issue arc for Fatal Attractions. Out of all my comics from a kid, these are the only ones I have left. So I thought I would. Hopefully, we can see this here.
Yep.
Yep, we got it this time. Yep.
Yeah. X-Men number 25. Hologram cover. It's not showing up, but I mean, this hologram is actually in really good condition. There's no scratches. There's no nothing. I don't have much. If you can see the sides here, it's in pretty good condition. There's not a lot of bending there. Like, I've kept this in good condition really long.
Yeah.
I've had this since it came out.
And this is the series that they brought in right after, because they thought they was ending Uncanny X-Men, and they ended up not doing it, so they just spinned off to this one, and it didn't even make it. But this run was actually pretty dope.
Yeah. I'm trying to do this without fucking it up.
I remember that panel, dude. That panel, dude. I remember me and my
There
friends
it is.
staring
Almost,
at that panel.
if you go back to the episode, they almost copied this like perfectly right out the comic.
Yeah.
I have all 6.
What was that? 97 when
what do you mean?
that comic came out. Like what year did that comic come out?
That was around 90,
like in the front square,
94. I want to say 93, 94.
I mean, I gotta wear my glasses,
Hey, we're right there with you, brother.
and then I can read the fine print on the bottom. This issue was October 93.
93.
Yep.
Wow, that
October
was
93.
because I remember sitting
And
around like staring at that panel with the adamantium coming out of it, like literally trying to trace back which part of the body we thought it was coming out of and shit.
And it's funny that this actual issue, I had picked it up on my way to school that morning, and I was reading it in homeroom. Didn't see my teacher walking around, and he literally took it from me, and I had to go and pick it back up at the end of the day.
That's wild. Esteban wants to know if you thought about slabbing the issues, or do you enjoy
I
opening
have never thought about slabbing issues. I don't know. I mean, as good a condition as this looks like, I don't know if it's worth slabbing. Um, but like, there's no creases on the spine. All the pages are in good shape. There's no scratches on the hologram. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
I've never slabbed anything before. I have a couple cards that I want to slab. Maybe slab these 6 issues. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, let me put it back in its.
Bougie or Boogie Jenkins is saying you can get them steamed and pressed to straighten them back out again before you slab them.
Yeah, no, I mean it's pretty. Like I said, like this thing is actually in pretty damn good shape considering it's from '93, and it was not like it was ever slabbed or anything. It's made it through all these years and all these moves of mine, and I still got all. I got all 6 issues. So,
That's cool.
yeah, it's something that I never thought I'd see
Mm-hmm.
in animated form.
Yeah.
It was
So I
wild.
was very, very surprised, very, very shocked when it happened.
Even
Yeah,
watching
wow.
the episode, seeing it kind of not really they didn't telegraph it too much, but you kind of like right before it happened, you saw it about to happen, and it
Well,
still was kind of mind
I mean, we'll
blowing.
get into it when we actually talk about it. But they
Right.
gave there was a little bit of foreshadowing and something that was said that then had me thinking like, no, they're not going to do this, and then yeah, they wound up doing it. So,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I'm quick with my showcase tonight. That's pretty much all I had. Just wanted to show off that comic where um, that particular the inspiration for that part in episode 9 came from.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, we appreciate you showing it to us. We know most of us know you're a pretty big X-Men fan, and that was cool that you still had those when we were
You know, only ones
watching the
that
shows
have
and stuff.
that have made it throughout the years.
Yeah. All right, so I guess with that we talked about the Fatal Attraction. I do want to. You're muted. Do you have a second E? Because I actually wanted to.
No. Sorry. I got my daughter's asking me for something. So go ahead, go real quick. I'll catch up.
We're gonna circle back to EE because it's no insult to any of y'all, and it's not whether it's true or not. But in my eyes, EE is probably one of the biggest X-Men fans that I know. Like in it, like not just liking it, like I like X-Men, or not even liking it a lot. Like I know Derek really likes it too, but EE is kind of about X-Men almost the same way as I am about like Batman the animated series and Batman and stuff. Like that's like his jam. So I really want to circle back and let him get into this cartoon, but we're going to start off while he's taking care of his business, and we'll just kind of go around like real quick and just kind of get before we get into the details of it. Let's just do an out of 10 scale, a 1 to 10 scale. What'd you think of it overall? No asterisks, just a number.
Are we saying final the overall series, the final episode? What?
The whole thing, the whole episode, the whole series overall. What was your
The
final
whole
score?
season, the whole 1st
Mhm.
season of X-Men
Mhm.
97.
Mm-hmm.
Scale of 1 to 10,
Yes, sir.
15.5.
Okay, cool. So 1 was the highest number, so you failed explicitly, sir. See what you get for trying to be slick? I just switched it up
Was
on you.
1 really the highest number?
1 is the best number. So you give it a 10. I'm assuming that's on a 10 scale. You're giving it a 10, which is a perfect score.
I've
means
definitely given it a perfect score.
There's nothing wrong with
given
it.
its predecessor. Yeah, and it coming off.
No. I
off
literally
of
said
that,
no
yeah, definitely
asterisks,
10.
none of that shit. I said no asterisks. This series by itself, if you watched it in a bubble, you're giving it a perfect 10.
Oh yeah.
Even with Rogue's flat ass, you're gonna give it a perfect 10. You ain't gonna give it a 9.8.
But you said no with no asterisks.
Hey, I don't have to
asterisk.
see what her ass looked like before to know she got a 2x4 in her pants this fucking time. That's just a given, dude. I'm looking at her like, what the hell?
As the youngest say that's cap. So yeah, so
Don't do that. You know what makes you really old is when you start trying to quote fucking young kids. I do that shit on purpose to drive Isaac crazy, man. He gets so mad.
Without referencing the original X-Men series, I'm still giving it a 10.
10. That's a perfect score. That's animation, voice work, music, storytelling, just a perfect 10. Okay, it's yours. I can't argue with it. It's objective, so I mean, it's yours. So you're saying perfect 10. Scott, what you got, buddy?
I'm gonna say 8, 8.5 out of 10. Really, really good. I don't give anything perfect 10, right?
Just my wife.
Yeah.
Just my wife. She's a perfect 10.
There you go, brother.
Love you, Carol.
There's a few elements that I think that they could have chosen to do differently, but that being said, the other piece is that even though I would give it, say, an 8.5 out of 10, everything else that we've gotten over the last few years has been such kind of crap that
you're asterisking it. No asterisks.
That I enjoyed it a lot more than I would a normal 8.5.
You're stealing my thunder. I'm going to get to that next. You're kind of jumping in front of me there. That's where I'm going next after this one. Just on a 10 scale, you're saying 8.5?
I can't help but go deep.
Yeah, you can. That's what I'm talking about. I taught you everything you know. So you're going 8.5 out of 10 for the whole season.
New rule: no drinking before the show. All right, that's a new rule for both.
I didn't drink before the show.
Drinking, yeah, you did.
No, I didn't. I'm drinking during the show. That's different.
Put the drinks down. Put the drinks down right now.
No, I hydrated first.
No, put down.
Water first.
All I can say is that Ricky and I weren't the ones talking about getting sprayed on our faces and rubbing
just
it
saying
all around.
it's recorded to the internet for
about
forever.
That whole situation.
Look, Scott. Let's pretend I'm Derek. Ask me about that picture you saw on the internet. Ask me. Go ahead. Let's
Derek,
play this out as a scenario.
Eric, what's with this thing that I saw on Facebook? This picture of you laying back in the chair and having like this mask stuff
Where's
on.
Man, I'm being a good father. I have a daughter. We got to do tea parties and all that kind of stuff. So I was just being a good father, spending time with my wife and my daughter. Boom, in the story. You don't hear me talking about getting jizzed on and dripping off my chin and none of that horse shit. So you purposely chose to go that direction. I'm just saying.
Anyway, X-Men 97, first episode. Fire.
Nope. Okay, so I'll just pretend like you asked me what I thought of the overall seasons because I appreciate you asking.
The overall season. No asterisk.
I would give it an 8.5 overall, and it loses points strictly because of that Dead Space episode with Jubilee. I didn't like that episode. The episode
that was one of the things I was doing for it. Yep.
That one, it wasn't a bad episode, but I think it pulled down the overall score. Like it was a fine episode.
Yep. Yeah.
It was very much.
That was one of the things I was digging for it.
I
think it had some purpose, but that there was too much fluff in the episode. They could have chosen to write more story into it that mattered.
Yeah, like I feel like that episode, like if you go back and watch it, and I know it's gonna sound like super creepy, but I feel like that episode was created for all the internet spank bank trolls that wanted to talk about how hot Jubilee was. So they just made an episode to make her 18, so it wasn't pervy and gross. Like they just wanted to fast forward through all that and fix all that because it was nonsensical. It added nothing to nor took away anything from the entire season. Like you could remove that episode and the season still plays out the same. I don't care that much about Jubilee. I care even less about Sunspot. So I mean, like it was just a total waste for me, and I think it was a waste of Mojo. Like I always liked Mojo as a character, and I feel like they wasted him in that one. So it brings that whole overall down to me to an 8.5. That singular episode would do that.
I want to delve into that later on, but let's get EE's rating on it.
So what we're doing, EE,
my rating on the show,
as an overall season, the whole season.
Give it a 9.
Overall.
I'll give it a 9.
There you go.
Even with the fluff episode, I mean, if you remember, the original had plenty of those fluff episodes.
Absolutely.
This is only 10. It was. I think it was also a nod to bring back the old voice actor for Jubilee because she played the voice of the older version of Jubilee. And I mean, yeah, it's fluff, but it's also like a coming of age
Mhm,
story for Jubilee because
Yeah.
she still acts like a kid sometimes, and
mhm,
this is about it's time to start to grow up.
mhm,
Mm.
Um, Jubilee is actually extremely powerful, and she just doesn't even realize it yet at that age. So,
All right.
mhm.
um, yeah, no, I give it a 9. I am eagerly waiting season 2 now.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. So like um Derek gave it a 10. Um
15.5.
no, a 10. Scott gave it an 8.5, I gave it an 8.5, and you gave it a 9. And so that gives us an aggregate of a 9. Like that's an overall 9, like across just the four of us. I mean, that's pretty fucking high. I mean, that sounds dumb and nerdy, but that's a high fucking score for a show that literally kind of came out of nowhere. Like I don't remember before they started announcing it, anybody saying, "Man, I wish they would continue the old X-Men cartoon." I remember us talking about we liked the old X-Men cartoon and how much we enjoyed it, but for this to come out of kind of nowhere and just continue it and not ruin stuff, um, it 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 it's surprising how good it was.
Well, I won't
So,
say it came out of nowhere. This thing was announced 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
COVID and all the damn delays and everything else that happened. The show was supposed to be out a long time ago.
Yeah.
so
Um,
that's
we
what
knew it was
I'm saying. Like
coming.
it's we knew we were coming for the last couple of years, but we've been talking about loving X-Men for 30 years. Like nobody was saying, "Hey, I want a continuation of that old show." We just talked about liking the old show, and it's
Mm-hmm.
really hard. And we know from a lot of other shows that we watch for them to pick up that ball that's been set down for so long and not ruin it, not go back and try to retcon shit and make it different and modernize it. I will personally say, for me, speaking for myself, I was very worried about them going back and trying to put modern situations in 1997 just to be make everybody happy with watching the show, and they handled it, I think, very well. It they didn't break the timelines or anything, and it didn't really change anybody or ruin anybody. And if anything, I think they built on it. Like as much as I liked Magneto, and as much as he was a great character, and I liked his background and stuff like that, I really think that they built on him. Like this Magneto is definitely built up from the Magneto we grew up watching on the old show. So I did appreciate that. So now let's go back and add our asterisks in this one. Let's go ahead and add in all the other stuff. Now, not looking at this show in a bubble. Scott kind of touched on it. I had we all listen. Most of us listen to Bobby, and we've heard the talks that they've had about X-Men, about how it's good, it's fine, it's a good show. It's the old show is a good show. This is a good show. Something along those lines. Like it's not shitting on what you're saying, Derek, but just to use an example, you gave it a 10 because it's the shiniest dog turd in the pile. Everything else around it is shit. So it makes this look so much better. It's kind of
I
like
don't
the
I
running,
don't I don't agree at all.
which we're going to get to. That's why I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm saying that's like the running theory that I've heard other people say it too. Like it's not just one person, but other people. It's everything else we're watching is so bad or so that this just seemed excellent compared to it. So Scott had kind of touched on that. So I want to go back around and kind of ask everybody. Obviously, you don't agree with it, EE, but do you agree with it? Do you not agree with it? Do you think on its own it was fine compared to other stuff? Is it still fine? Something along those lines. Go ahead, Scott. Run with it.
Well, I think I don't think everything around it is crap, but I think that the overall quality of shows that we've had to kind of endure within the genre of pop culture and all the things that we like, the quality overall has been less satisfying over the last few years than what I remember previously, and so I think that helped it to shine. But the other piece of that is that as as we as we think about what X-Men 97 is, it it also seems to be written for a different audience than the first one. and then a lot of the shows. First of all, right out front, it was written by a fan. It was written by somebody who knew the genre intimately and the license intimately, and that's another thing that's been is an exception in today's marketplace of media, if you will, when it comes to the pop culture franchises that we know. So many of them are hiring people that have never touched the franchise before. But two is that it seems like it's taken its focus off of trying to be a kids show that has laced in adult themes, and went adult, but not so adult that you can't show it to, say, someone, I don't know, 9, 10 and up.
Mm.
It definitely seems like its focus has shifted. So that's where I'm at.
Well, I mean, they were smart enough to know that your core audience here aren't children. It's the people, people who grew up with your show are adults now. So, making it a little more mature, a little darker works. I know. See, here's the problem with that theory that I have about comparing it to other shows and what's out there right now. Remember, this is an animated show, so I'm not comparing this to uh, The Boys or any of the other Disney Plus stuff. If I'm gonna sit here and try to compare it to all the other recent animated shows that we have gotten over the last few years,
Bad
that I
Batch,
think has been
Siege.
excelling. See, now Bad Batch is a mixed bag
What?
among Star Wars fans. I enjoyed the final season. I enjoyed the third season a little bit more than the first two. But then you also look at Vox Machina. You look
Mm.
at the new season of He-Man. You look at
Which is also a mistake.
Invincible.
I mean,
You look at
he
Invincible. These are new cartoons that we have gotten over the last few years, and they've all. Well, Matt, I know The Boys isn't Disney. I'm just comparing it to shows that have been coming out lately. Um, you know, when I would compare the X-Men show to the other animated shows that we have gotten lately, and leave out all those other shows. And when you do that, trying to say it's the shiniest of all the turds. Um,
He said Vox
sorry.
Machina isn't good. Ooh, ooh,
no
Whoa, 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 whoa,
ooh.
whoa, whoa, whoa. All
Whoa,
right,
ways. This is
Matt's on
Beansy,
this
timeout for that one. Matt is
Beansy.
on timeout for that one. Uh,
It's his opinion.
yeah, well, his opinion is wrong. Uh, um, no, but yeah, when I look at it like that way, yeah, no, it's the anime stuff has been pretty good so far across the board from the different networks. So yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, no, go ahead, Derek.
I'm writing notes. I'm sorry.
Don't forget
So,
to take your teeth out before you go to bed.
so here's the overall thing that I was looking at. Anytime I'm looking at any show, I'm grading it on a few things: the animation, the storytelling, character building, soundtrack. Those are elements that I look at when it comes to any of these shows. Now, here's the other thing that I always keep in mind. These new shows are supposed to be better than what we had before. Um, that's why I can always enjoy going back to looking at the old shows because it was great for that time. It brings back memories of you watching the shows and what you went through during that time at that age. When you're watching these shows now, it's great to be able to remember that reference from the old show. 97, X-Men 97 referenced a whole lot of things that happened in the original X-Men series. Um, we have to also keep in mind that, there's a purposeful continuation of this series from the old series. So you have to actually, piece back references to that show. If you didn't watch the old X-Men, you wouldn't get some of the things that happened in this 97 series. So, um, I mean, that's why I give it. That's why I give it such high praise. We were talking about the Jubilee episode earlier. Um, the one thing I'm glad that they did with that one is not dwell on a whole show on a whole half hour on that particular piece. If you remember, they broke that piece that episode in half. They
Origin
did the
Storm.
Jubilee one, and then they did Life Death right
Mm-hmm.
after that. The first part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Um, them spending the time to evolve Jubilee because the last series, all 5, 6 seasons, she was this little kid that we had to watch do just adolescent, dumb kid, teenage things. This gave us the opportunity to see her grow into the next phase of her life. And I really appreciated that particular episode for what they did. It taught her that she needed to grow up, and they did that and went on to the next thing. And that was it, you know. And she got something at the end of the episode. But we're
Mm-hmm.
not talking about that.
That's
Real
the
quick,
part yeah. Go ahead.
real quick. My one problem with that episode is I don't like the costume change. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
That
Costume change?
particular, yeah, the all black jumpsuit with the yellow that they changed it
Which
Well,
to.
she didn't do that till later.
she went to the Build a Figure Jubilee.
Yeah, she went to the Build a Figure Jubilee, and the reason, yeah, right, it wasn't in that episode, but
Hmm.
that is my one complaint. I understand it's sell toys,
Mm-hmm.
um, new outfits, but that outfit was actually belonged to when she was turned into a vampire for many
Yeah,
years. So
I
I
thought
didn't feel like that. You should have kept that there, but whatever. It was
yeah.
just a little nitpick of mine when it came to
I
Jubilee.
I felt like they should have had her lose the jacket. You know what I mean? And
She
do
always has a
something.
jacket. She
But yeah, I
always has a
know,
That's,
but
jacket.
that's like
So
I feel like
telling
if you're going to
Batman to lose the
evolve,
cape.
right? I feel like if you're going to evolve a teenage character, she needs to change her look overall, even with her clothes. I think that I think the Jubilee jacket is, to me, is just played out. You know what I mean?
it's iconic for her, like Gambit jacket is for him. I think it's just one of those
Hmm.
things.
Time out real quick, Scott. This ain't the other show, bro. You better open your eyes up and be awake, man. You jump up, do some jumping jacks or something, man. We don't do that low energy shit around here. This is not that
I'm
other
here.
show
I'm just
you like.
listening.
You
I'm
better
just
open
Anyway,
your
listening.
eyes.
but yeah, it was just
That's a
so much
callback,
from
y'all.
this.
Go watch the episode.
It was just so much from this series that I was able to take away from that was just exciting from the first episode all the way to episode 10. I
Mhm.
mean, it was just amped on every level, every episode because it was just like I didn't expect that. I've read these comics, but I never would even imagine they would have done it here. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it was that level of excitement that brought me to loving this show the way that I did. The first episode with um at the end where Magneto reveals that he's in charge of the X-Men now, and because Xavier's gone, the whole premise of Xavier being gone, the world think he's dead, but he's really not, and they didn't really dwell on the fact that they just they just played it like he was really dead, and but we all knew that he wasn't dead. It was even people that believed that he really was dead. They was like, "Yeah, he was killed off." And I was like, "No, he wasn't. He wasn't."
We all knew where
So
he was because we watched the
yeah.
old episodes. Yeah.
Here's another thing.
You shacking up.
This season really makes you work. It makes you work your memory in regards to the old season. For example, when did Madeline Pryor actually come into the series? You know, it kind of make you it's plenty of things that it's plenty of episodes that make you think that's probably the episode where she came with Sinister inserted Madeline Pryor and had Jubilee and had not Jubilee Blood, Jean Grey. You know what I mean? So I appreciate I appreciated everything they did with this series. It was just absolutely incredible.
The one thing, and I'm more than willing to admit up front that I'm wrong on this one, but I just don't remember it that way. We're old soft trash. Memories aren't great all the time. It's been a
Speak for
while since I
yourself.
ran
My
through the
memory is
original.
perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Um, it's been a while since I've burned through the original series of X-Men, but I one of the negatives I got from this one was I was sick and fucking tired of fucking rogues. Well, I'll be a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. I'm like, you need to fucking relax with all that shit. I don't remember it being that heavy-handed in the original. I know she did it, but I don't remember it being that fucking heavy. It's like every time she opened her fucking mouth, all the way up until the Genosha episode. Like
Mhm.
post that, you only heard it every once in a while because then she was just like, "I'm fucking everybody up at this point." But before that, it was like every time she opened her goddamn mouth, it was some silly ass shit coming like that out of her mouth. Like it drove me nuts.
I think one Rogue got a lot more focus this time around than she did in the original in this 10 episode arc, and the
See,
voice
that's
actress unfortunately is it's glaring how different she sounds from the original. So you're
Mhm.
just picking. I think you might just be picking up on her voice
Yeah.
not
I'm not
being the
talking about the
same so much
accent.
anymore. No,
It's
no, no. But I mean I mean, you know, when she talks,
The age
you're
of her voice.
noticing even more when she talks because of her voice
Yeah.
on and how it doesn't match. I know it's the same actress, but the
I
voice
get you. They're
doesn't match what we
30
got
years older.
before.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly, it doesn't match what we got before, and she had a huge focus, so she's speaking more.
Hmm.
So that's why it might seem like you're catching these catchphrases of hers so
Hmm.
often right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
so
definitely want to
that's
run
one
back
of
to the old ones and just see. I'm sorry, Scott. Go ahead, but I cut you off.
no, that's okay.
Right.
That's one of the things that I was dinging it for as well. And why I was said 8.5 is I think that they sacrificed in order to cast the same actress rather than
Mm-hmm.
going with the best actress to voice the character now. Uh, and because every time she talked, it took me out of it because
Yeah.
I knew I was listening to an old woman, not the character that was on the screen.
Yeah.
Like
I
they
get that.
recast Jubilee because the actress had kind of aged out of the voice. They could have done the
Well,
same thing with
no,
mhm.
Rogue.
it wasn't. No, it wasn't that.
They did it.
It was that she chose not to do it because she said that she would rather, it go to a person that's actually, that age and age, and she was Asian at the same time too. She
Hmm.
said she would come back to do any other character, but she felt like she felt like she wasn't the fit for for Jubilee now versus her being back then, and you can get away with Wolverine could get away with that because Logan was older anyway. Um, and we
His
lost the
Australian
original voice
accent.
actor. Yeah,
Hmm.
Cedric Smith, we lost him years ago. He passed years ago. They got Jennifer Hale to come in as Jean Grey and Madeline Pryor and all that. I mean, it was just a total the only original voice actors that came back to do the voices were Professor X, uh, Wolverine, uh, Rogue, and I think Magneto was the original
Wasn't
voice actor too.
wasn't Storm one of the original
And
actresses?
Storm,
'Cause
yeah,
in the old ones, it was
and
two actresses did
it
a
was two
voice.
actresses.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. One the first actress who I actually like better than the second one. I think she did a more outstanding job than the second one that came along. But they both did a great job nonetheless. So, but even Storm now,
Mhm.
even after all these years, she really actually sounds the same to me.
Yeah.
It's like that
She had a
voice
very
never
regal
left.
voice back then, so she just
Right,
still has a regal sounding voice now. Yeah.
Mm.
right, yeah.
All right, so we when the thing was posted earlier in the week in the realm about us doing this show, I said in there, man, we were talking spoilers, and anybody bitched about it could fuck off. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into a big spoiler, stopping at the end of season one, not jumping into what we think season two is. Are you guys surprised that they actually left him dead for the entire season?
No, No,
You're
I'm not
talking about
Did you,
surprised.
Gambit?
yeah, did you think they had
I'm
the
not
balls to leave him
surprised.
dead the whole time?
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense.
I'm glad
I
they did. I
didn't.
can't
I
stand that
had
guy
no
talking.
idea
It
because
makes sense. You couldn't have killed Gambit and Magneto off at the same time. One,
yeah,
it'd have been too much. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm not surprised. I'm pretty sure at some point Gambit
That's
will
what I'm
be
saying.
back.
He'll be back. Yeah, I see it coming
yeah.
with the apocalypse. We had talked about that before, the Four Horsemen,
And
but
I
I'm
forgot
saying
all
just
about
this
that.
season, like this
I
season,
forgot all about that.
and I
Yeah,
have
I
to
If
give.
they
was
had brought him
Sorry.
so
back,
sad. I was so sad about Gambit passing,
Mhm.
man, because that's the X-Men character that I love the most
He was my
out of
favorite character.
all.
I took
Yeah,
my
he was.
baseball gloves and cut the fingers off of him, ran around with a deck of cards,
Did
throwing
you?
cards at motherfuckers. That he was my favorite
Man,
character.
I'm telling you, I grew up when Gambit first came on the scene, and then they put him on the show because they had him in video game before the show came out. They had the video games and all of that, and they had him in the media too. But I really gravitated to Gambit more than any other X-Men character out of all of them. And when
No.
they killed him off in this one, not even thinking about him coming back later as as one of the four horsemen of the
Mhm.
apocalypse. I was just heartbroken, man. It was just like, and that's the other thing this show did. It grabs your feels on a lot of levels when certain things happen in this show. I mean, come
They
on, man.
played off the
Getting to the
nostalgia and they worked in it, man. They lived in that
yeah,
that realm, so to speak. They lived in there
hmm
and they played every note properly inside there.
You know,
exactly.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, they played off nostalgia, but I don't think that's what carried the show. Um, if you think
They
about it, right?
built off of it. They
So
built off of it, is what I'm saying.
what did we have? We had Madeline Pryor's storyline. We had the Inferno storyline. We
Mhm.
had Operation Zero Tolerance. We had
Fatal Attraction. Mhm.
Fatal
Fatal
Attraction.
Attractions.
Mhm.
Just to name a couple of the storylines that they touched on
Mhm.
hmm
in these, big comic moments, big X Men arcs
Mhm.
that were all melded together in 10 episodes,
hmm
10 30-minute episodes.
Yeah.
that worked. That
And
made sense.
somehow
They pulled
they
it off.
pulled it off.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like, if you would have told me in a 10 episode season you're getting all these story arcs, I immediately would have been like, what the fuck? It sounds like too much. How are you going to rush through these things? But somehow they did it. Somehow they pulled it off,
Yeah.
which was very impressive. Very, very impressive. You know, this again goes to show why you need someone who is familiar with the property, familiar with the lore, a fan of it, to take the helm on shows like this.
hmm
You
Right.
know, I've spoken about this before. Balance, right?
Yeah.
The balance of telling your own story, but staying true and respectful of the source material. That is exactly what they did. They told their own stories, but all of it was pretty much comic book inspired. They stay true to they stay true to source. Look, like it was Apocalypse who infected Nathan, right?
hmm
Not Sinister. It was the Ascani who bring Nathan to the future, not Bishop.
Not Bishop.
So you
Yeah.
made your changes, right,
Yep.
to fit your current X-Men narrative,
Yep.
and it worked. I
hmm
thought it worked wonders. I mean, yeah, and the amount of cameos that they were able to throw into this show without being distracting, I thought was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The way they had more changing into the different characters, it actually fit because it was that nostalgic that feel to it, but at the same time accentuating how Morph's powers work. Because a lot of people didn't know that that's how his powers work. Is he doesn't just have the ability to change into these characters. He takes on their abilities as well.
That's not true.
No, no, no. In this one, that this is what they were trying to, this is what they were trying to relay. Because look at the way he used these characters to do these different things. Art
Morph
more
can take your a physical ability, right?
right.
And that's all he did. He just took physical abilities.
Physical,
Like
yeah.
if he turned into Storm, he can't control the
And
weather.
right, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
could take the.
No, no, no.
If you're strong, he's gonna get that. If you got wings, he's gonna get that. Which
Right.
is the character that he kind of flipped into.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Because that whole the courtroom scene where
yeah,
he was fighting and he literally changed into three different characters. It was Lady Deathstrike, physical, all her physical abilities.
Psylocke.
Psylocke, physical abilities.
I think
Colossus,
Colossus was another
physical
one he changed
abilities.
into.
Mhm.
Yeah, and earlier before, and even before that, when they went to the desert to fight Master Mold, he changed into Archangel to grab Wolverine, fly,
That
get and catch Wolverine and
that
bring
scene
him
is
on.
still one of my favorite one of the season. The where Storm
Yeah,
came in with the lightning bolt.
yeah, man.
That was just
Mm.
that. It was a
It was
gorgeously
freaking
drawn
brilliant.
shot. Like
Just
it was beautiful.
just the whole scene of the fight with the Sentinels. You
Yeah,
know, what a way to start your series.
yeah,
Um, I was that from that moment on. I was like, oh, this might be good because I had my concerns about this show. We know anything Disney's been touching Marvel, you're right to be concerned before it comes out.
true. That's
So
absolutely true. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I had my concerns. I was nervous. They pleasantly surprised me.
yeah. I was shocked at how the first episode just really put me into a total state of shock. But the way they recharacterized Cyclops and the way he uses his abilities, man, the way he was
Yeah,
skating through
I'm
the
gonna go
whole
ahead and say
man,
now,
that
Cyclops
was
still a
incredible.
bitch boy. I still slap him.
That whole thing was that whole situation that when he came in to rescue Roberto was absolutely incredible. I was thoroughly impressed by that
He's still my least favorite X-Men on the show. I don't
one.
know. I've never been a big Cyclops
That
guy.
actually made me like him more, you
It,
know?
it made me like him more, but he got a long way to go. But it was it man, that show was so good. Like it's
Yeah,
hard. It's hard. I asked the question because it's a general thing that's kind of going through the zeitgeist of nerddom and stuff. But I don't think it's a shiny turd like he was talking about. It just is a good show. The people who wrote it, the people that drew it, the people that directed it, just kind of knew what to do with it. They touched on the nostalgia stuff, but they didn't beat us over the head with it. It wasn't repetitive. It wasn't just, oh, you remember that thing you liked in that one episode? Well, here it is again. Wubba dubba dub dub. They didn't just keep doing that over and over. They built on it. Like the speeches from Magneto in this, like the ones in the old ones,
yeah.
it was good.
Monologue, man.
Magneto was a good speaker, good orator.
Yeah,
Sorry, good
yeah.
orator in the old
Mhm,
original series. But
mhm.
in this one, it was like next level shit,
Yeah,
like deep, profound, but easily digestible
yeah,
monologues. Like they were great. And I like that the build on the old stuff. They gave it nostalgia, but they didn't just sit in it. They moved past it and added to it, which is what I was talking about earlier. Was how they built off of it instead of just swimming in it. And
mhm.
I have to say, man, it's a great show. I can nitpick it. You want to go through frame by frame? We can nitpick the motherfucker to death. I'm not here to nitpick it.
no,
It
no,
was
definitely not.
I got no
it
nitpicks for it at
it
all.
was. I'm not over here trying to Ramen Toys fanboys suck it off either. But
Mhm,
I like the show, and it was really good. And I would highly suggest anybody that like the original go give it a try if you haven't had a chance. Beansy, I know you said you're not giving your money to Disney, and I respect your stance and your willingness to back it up. But if this thing ever comes out on DVD, man, pick up a copy of
mhm.
it and watch
Definitely.
it. It is definitely worth that. Like I will be adding this to my DVD collection with my box sets for the old series. As soon as they put it out, I'm buying it. Like it's going in there with it. It was good stuff. Um, all right, so let's do this one now. We've kind of touched on stuff. You've probably mentioned it maybe in passing, but we'll go back around again. This time I'm gonna rotate the other way. We're gonna go the other way. Scott, Derek, what was your favorite scene or conversation or thing you saw, And what was your least favorite scene or conversation piece that happened in the series?
My favorite scene out of the entire series was what we were just talking about. Magneto's scene where he was when they was in the courtroom, and episode 2,
Mm-hmm.
and he did that whole monologue. I even did a post about it. The
Mm-hmm.
entire monologue just was so powerful. Even I even spoke it. I wrote it down, talked it out, and I was like, yo, and then after I finished, I was like, yo, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Man, yeah, I love that whole thing. I got it actually. I got it in front of me if y'all want me to read it. So, but
You're
I don't
talking.
know.
You read whatever you want to. You say whatever you want to. It's your turn.
Okay, so
Do your thing.
yeah, he says, "This is your dream. My kind splayed before you, powerless and afraid.
Mhm.
All the X-Men have done is use their awesome power to protect a world that hates and fears them. Behold their reward. What must we do? What must we do to be good enough? Is it this high road's destination? If so, I say, as I have said, if I have too many times before, never again." And then he put them all, he flew them all up into space, and then stopped, and then turned around and went, "Bigot,
Mhm.
ingrate,
Ingrates. Mhm.
sycophant, worm, so small I could smite you with a step. There was a time I would smite you all for what you've done to Storm. But today I have saved you from your own. For an old friend has challenged me to remember this view of Earth. How vast it is, how vast it is versus how small we make it. Charles Xavier entrusted me with his dream, and it does not ask you to love or embrace my kind as your own, but merely to accept that this is a shared world with a common future, and that my kind, like yours, have the right to live in it.
Mhm.
I am trying to be better. Please do not make me let you down.
Mhm.
Woo!
Yeah.
Man,
I love that
that
lady.
whole monologue was
Powerful.
fire.
Yeah.
Man, and that was my favorite.
The lady said, "Let
Entire
us go." He's like, "Careful what you say."
dude. That
Even
last
in
that
that.
last part, because that last part, "do not make me let you down," meant so many things
Mhm.
in
There
that
was.
instance.
It was like an onion.
Woo!
Onions have layers.
Man,
That's a good one. All right, so
yeah,
that's your number one spot.
that is my number one
What was
scene
your
that I
least
love.
favorite thing? And I mean, granted, if you're giving it a 10, you're thinking the show's perfect. There has to be something that was the bottom of the list. Comparing good to good, there's still something that's slightly less than everything else. What was your least favorite?
Damn, I gotta really think about that one.
All right, then we'll
You
go to
might have to
Scott
come
while you
back to
think
me.
about it.
You
Let's go to
might have to come
Scott.
back to me on that one. I
Okay.
gotta think about that
Think
one.
about it. And if you don't say something
Yeah.
out of that stupid Mojo episode, you a fucking liar. All right, Scott, what you got, man? What was your favorite
So
part of the series?
I'm gonna do reverse them. My favorite was the Mojo episode aspect of it for sure, 100%. And then my most favorite was Gambit's Destiny
Mm,
for multiple reasons. One, because I felt like it gave it gave because and because they kept him dead through through the season. I feel like it gave the show the right level of
gravitas.
gravitas
Yep.
and emotional impact without cheapening it by bringing him back too soon.
Mhm.
And so I can't stand to hear that character talk. So that was also very nice to have him gone.
Mhm. That was a you kind of touched on it earlier, and I was going to piggyback off that, but I had to step away, so the moment was gone. But since you brought it up again, that was another one of those things that brought it down to the 8.5. Is we get it? Remy's from New Orleans. He's got the French accent, but
Right.
every time you open his fucking mouth,
He just rammed it down your throat.
Yeah, beignet this, croissant that, fucking champagne. Yeah, we fucking get it. You're
He's
French.
Cajun
Relax.
for real.
Yeah, but he didn't talk like that in the original series.
Yeah, he
He
did.
said share, mon ami. He used the slang
Yeah.
terms. He didn't go, I'm gonna sit here and fry these beignets over here in my crop top fucking bullshit like he did in this one. I didn't. Gambit's my dude, so I really watched how they treated him and how he talked, and I did not. Yeah, that was another one that brought it down to that 8.5. You touched
But
on that
that's
earlier.
also, if you really think about it, that's also representation because
Man, shut
that was a
up with
high
that
mark.
horse shit,
That was
man.
a
I
high
don't.
that
That
was a high
fucking
mark of
stupid
it
shit.
because that's
You
what
are
every show
lucky
is.
I don't have cornfield fucking
But no, but
capabilities.
that's
I'll
what
show
every
you
show is doing right
representation.
now. You know,
I don't
they
give a fuck. That
Representation.
don't make it right.
A
That
white
don't make it
man from
right.
Louisiana.
That don't make it fucking right, man. Not anybody gotta be a lemming and run off the edge because the one in front did it. Fuck that bullshit, man. That shit was dumb. Dumb.
just
Look,
saying.
my wife's Irish, and if all she ran around talking about was corned beef and cabbage, I wouldn't have nothing to fucking say to her, man. I got time for all that bullshit. No, that was dumb. I did not
I
like
can't
that they
keep
did
track
that.
of how much you guys claim in your family. Irish, Jewish, Spanish. What
No,
is-
no, no, no. I said my wife is Irish. I didn't say nothing about me.
Yeah.
I'm a mutt. I'm a mutt through and
No.
through, man. I'm a mutt through and through.
So let's go to the comments as well because they mentioned their favorites and their favorites and.
Hey, thanks for asking me what mine was, Derek. My
I'm
favorite.
saying when you get a chance,
Fuck
you
would
know,
you
go
do?
ahead and do that because we haven't heard EE either. So you know,
Well, he's also muted and turned off. He's taking care of his family.
yeah.
But I will
No, what was
piggyback off
yours?
mine. Scott actually touched on it. It literally was the death of Gambit. The name is Gambit, or what? How do you say it? He said,
The name's
"Remember my,
Gambit.
remember it, like
Remember it.
that." Just very
Mhm.
basic, and said everything that needed to be said, and then they made it count. They made it count. We know
Yeah.
he's going to come back. They're not going to leave him dead. I mean, they
No,
might
no,
leave him
he's
dead
gonna-
for a little while just to fuck
Yeah.
with him, but he's
Mhm.
not staying dead. But just the balls to leave him dead for the whole season. They didn't try. Oh, here's the pop up Easter egg at the very end. Here's Gambit just standing here. He's been standing over here on the sidelines for the last 5 episodes, just watching shit happen. No, they did not. They left him dead the whole season, and that made that one little moment just so fucking impactful. And the fact that he was my favorite X-Men, as much as I hated him going out, it was it was a good way to die. It was poignant.
Good
It
death.
meant something.
Yeah.
He sacrificed himself to
I
save
know
someone.
that sounds harsh, but
Yeah, I know, but we're talking legitimately. It sucks to see that he died, and he's my favorite character, and I wish he didn't die. But if he is going to die, that was the way to do it. No bullshit, no nonsense. That was the way to do it. They wrote that perfectly.
indeed.
And my least favorite is definitely just pick something out of the Mojo episode. I don't fucking that whole fucking episode. It was. I get it's a filler episode. I know the old show is full of filler episodes. I get it kind of fits the criteria. But out of 10 episodes, that's the only fucking filler episode. Every other episode directly impacted the whole entire season except for that one. And the only part of that one that did was the Storm and Forge part. That's it. That's it.
I have my least favorite. My least liked episode was when my least like scene was when Jean kissed Wolverine. Like that shit was, you know,
and her
this shit was
mind thing.
legit. And then gonna turn around and get mad at Cyclops for, you know, having the mind meld with Madeline, you know, with that whole situation going on. That was the first time in this whole thing I was like, bitches, you crazy. What'd you just do?
She's literally crazy. She has voices in her head. That's
I'm like,
definition of crazy.
What did you just get finished doing? And you gonna go after this man over, you know, being over having a conversation and having a, you know, a heart to heart with, you know, the mother of his child, you know, and you've been gone all this time, you know, and he didn't know. He's mixed in his emotions right now, man. And then you're gonna go kiss Wolverine before that whole before that whole scene even happened. She kissed Wolverine on the mouth, like, you know, that shit was like acceptable. And then fortunately, Wolverine, you know, lived in the reality of that whole situation. Was like, he's Scott Summers, you're Jean Grey. That's how it's supposed to be. And then walked off. It was like, yo, cool. And then she gonna go and get mad at us. I was like, hey, bitch, please.
Mhm. All right.
Section.
So so E, I don't know
I
if you
was
heard what
done
we're
with
doing.
Gene about
I
that one,
got
man.
you.
But go ahead, E.
Yeah. What we're doing is, what was your favorite either episode or moment? It can be a very specific moment if you want it to be. And what was your least favorite episode or moment?
Genosha was my favorite.
Okay.
I don't know if I have a least favorite.
Mm.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
But the whole
So
Genosha episode was my favorite.
yeah.
The music that they used for that episode was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um, and Gambit's sacrifice at the end was just fucking amazing. So, and just the fact that they did that entire that particular story from the
Hmm.
comics just blew my mind. That's when I really knew, like, wow, all right, this show's not playing.
Hmm. Yep.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
agree. That was my favorite too, and it was also Scott's. Like it's funny, is the three of the four was that was our favorite. Our favorite moment was the
Yeah.
Gambit and the Genosha section.
Yeah.
And you don't have a lease at all. We're not talking about it's bad. We're just
I
talking
don't I
about.
don't I can't think of one that I have any.
Mhm.
No.
Okay. Okay. So we've got our overalls. We've got our favorites and our least favorites. Um, real quick, yes, it's a kind of a yes or no thing. You can expound if you want to, but did it go flashing back to our first show when we talked about this? In your mind from that first episode when you watched it, and you kind of, I think you just kind of answered this question, but for everybody else too, is did it go the route you thought it was going to go as you were watching it? Like when you first watched that first episode, you're like, oh, I can see where this is headed. I got the vibe of this show already. Like, where did it change? Did it veer off of that? Did it catch you off guard? Like, how did you feel about
Mhm. Everything was unpredictable to me. And it didn't and once they started going into the story,
it? Hmm.
you kind of had a feeling of where it was going to go,
Hmm.
but they put their own spin on it. But you already knew what that whole situation was about. I mean, we've been talking about it all night, how the comics actually influenced this entire season, but they put their own spin on it with this whole series going together. We talked about how Nathan actually got infected. It was actually by Apocalypse, and not. And in this series, it was Mr. Sinister. We
Hmm.
talked about how the Ascani clan came and got Nathan from Gene and Scott to take him to the future. But it was Bishop that did it in this series.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, everything fluently was just unpredictable to me, and I loved it. I
Seeing
loved
those
it because
changes,
of
like
that.
those big changes you just made, like in our nerd world, changes like that
Mhm.
usually infuriate us. Like, hold the fuck up. That ain't how
Right.
that shit happened. But in this, it flowed and it didn't,
Yeah.
like,
It
you notice it, but it didn't like kill the momentum of it.
See,
right.
that's never been my problem
Hmm.
when they adapt storylines and change them.
Hmm.
My
Mhm.
my my problem, and I'll bring it back to I'll give you an example. Deadpool 2, right?
Hmm.
Vanisher, right?
Hmm.
This his power. He's a teleporter.
Hmm.
Mhm.
He doesn't turn invisible.
Hmm.
But when you do shit like that, is
Right.
where I have a problem.
That was the Brad Pitt character.
That yes,
Yeah.
that's where I have a problem. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's an unnecessary change, which makes me, I just feel like that's done because someone just doesn't know what they're doing,
Gotcha.
doesn't understand who or what the character should be,
Gotcha.
which is why you're supposed to have people who know the property, are actual real fans of the property, do
Mhm.
it, unlike that stupid fucking team that's doing Halo, who even fucking
There we
admitted
go.
they never watched the show, watched the Halo game, never played a game,
Mhm.
Never read any of
watched
the
any of the
book.
movies, read. They knew nothing about, except I guess someone gave them a bunch of fucking cliff notes,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yeah.
and that's why, as a Halo show, it is fucking god awful.
Mm-hmm.
If that show had been named Space Marine or whatever the fuck you want, and it wasn't supposed to be on Halo, it might not have been a bad show. But
Mm-hmm.
since it
Yeah.
was supposed to be based off of Halo, you dropped the fucking ball and that shit was trash.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. What about you, Scott? Did you kind of like? I know you weren't on the first episode. I don't believe you were, if I remember correctly, where we were trying to guess where we thought it was going to go from the very first episode. Did it kind of whatever timeline you built in your head or story you built in your head? Did it kind of follow that, or did it catch you off guard along the way too?
So I am what you would consider to be a casual fan of comics, and so I never read them growing up. So any interaction I've had has been as an adult and as being in and around other people who are fans, as well of course all the Marvel Universe live action stuff. So I didn't have any expectations on where it was going to take me. But was taken aback by the Gambit death. I didn't expect to see that out of the cartoon, and then also by the graphicness of Wolverine's of when they were stripped when Magneto was stripping adamantium out of him.
Yeah.
Those were two surprising things. The rest of it was just I was along for the ride, for the journey, which was kind of nice actually. Not to have kind of preset expectations.
That you didn't bring any baggage in with you. Yeah,
that's right.
We've talked about that before. Yep.
What about you, Rick?
So watching it as a whole and seeing what they did with it, you got my score out of it. But when we were going episode by episode as they were releasing and talking about them, I didn't like the Madeline Pryor episode. The Goblin Queen.
I feel you on that one.
Because when I watched it, I'm like, dude, you just took so much fucking story and just washed so much of it away to compress it down into this 30-minute episode. You fucked the pooch on this one. Now, that was just me watching just that episode the day it released. Watching it continue into what they did with it, I was like, okay, it makes sense. It works. And I do like the episode. There's nothing wrong with the episode. It's just my initial gut reaction was, oh, fuck, they're going to water everything down, cherry pick out what the fuck they want to from the comics and just rush through every goddamn thing. But like he said earlier, it's kind of surprising. They really, it's hard to phrase it. They did cherry pick the parts out of it, but they cherry picked the parts that fit perfectly together to make a 30-minute episode. Like they told that whole story in there. They didn't leave anything off that wouldn't make the story make sense if you read the comics. And the same thing with the Fatal Attraction and all the stories that they kind of touched on. It kind of they made it work. I could not for the life of me tell you how they did it, but they picked the right stuff to put it into the show to be like, okay, I know what we're doing here, and I'm okay with a little bit of changes that you're making. But my first initial gut reaction, because that Madeline Pryor was the first big story arc that I remember from comics in the show where I'm like, they're fucking around in here. Like, they're going to try to start doing this silly shit, and I'm not going to like it. Like, if you go back and look at the old series, like when they did the Phoenix Saga, that shit was what, like 5, 6, 7 fucking episodes? Like, they spread it out. Like, it was a whole, they got the story in there. I'm like, and then you rushed all this into one 30-minute episode? But they made it work.
So I remember back when that episode aired and you and I were on the same page with it, and I took the same journey of thought that you did with it making more sense as the additional episodes went along as to why it was necessary for them to take it the direction that they did and how it set up many different elements of the later plot. However, I still have a problem with the sheer gleeful evil that she became for a brief 3 minutes. And then totally took another 180 turn back to I'm a decent human being again. They didn't have to take her that far into gleeful evil to accomplish the same thing.
I got you.
That's pretty accurate though to how she was and has been on and off over the years. She's
It's almost like bipolar. 1 minute laughing and next minute ripping a head off type thing. Like,
but they both exhibited those things in this show as well. Like with Jean getting angry with Scott about him being with her, and then with her not accepting the fact, with Madeline not accepting the fact that she's not Jean, or no one's believing that she's Jean, and then this whole thing gets both of them just riled up on in different in different ways. These are
Well,
actually what happened with them.
what if I told you you're not really you?
Right,
Like, I
exactly.
get it. I get why
Yeah,
she was like, "Fuck you." What do you mean I'm not
yeah.
me?
Yeah, I was totally with her with that whole thing. I was like, shoot,
Mhm.
I'm literally just seeing how this whole thing is gonna play out. Now, that whole episode, it kinda I was kinda disinterested in that episode. I think that was the least favorite episode I like. So episode 3 was probably the least favorite of mine.
Hmm.
But it
Over the Mojo
defined it.
episode.
Yeah, because I told you how that episode worked out. That episode actually worked,
Mhm.
for what it
Mojo
was trying
episode
to
was
do.
good. It was just,
Yeah.
just a filler episode, but it wasn't a bad
Right.
episode.
And I'm glad, and like I said, I'm just glad they didn't spend the whole 30 minutes doing that particular episode, because
Mhm.
it would have just dragged out and made
Mhm.
no sense whatsoever. So for them to do 15 minutes of that and then do 15 minutes of life death, uh that was actually the right
Mhm.
call. That was the right
Gotcha.
call to, and that was the right tone to be able to do that. So
I can tell you
to
what my
me.
favorite line. I'm sorry, Derek.
Good.
My fault. My fault.
No, 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 go. No, no, no.
No,
Go,
no,
go,
yeah, keep
go.
going, keep going. That was totally my fault.
No,
Yeah,
no,
keep
no.
going.
I was ending that remark. So no, go for it.
My favorite line was, "He's coming, who Apocalypse?" And then she
Oh yeah,
screamed at him, "No, the baby!" Like he was stupid. Like she smoked him. Like, no, the fucking baby.
You
That might
fucking
have been my
idiot.
favorite line.
Yeah, that shit did make me laugh out
right.
loud. That was a good one
The
too.
way she said it
Yeah.
and yelled at him, I was like,
Right.
Yeah. All right, so we're getting close to an hour and a half, so we're gonna start winding down. But I want to go around one time and just give a generalization of what you're hoping for in season 2, like what you're hoping to see, like if like there's any story arcs or something in the comics that you would really like them to see to touch on and so to speak and work through and give us a good visuals of it. Like what are you looking forward to, Scott? I know this is gonna be a hard one for you because you said you're not a big comic guy, but maybe build off of what you've seen in this show, like where you'd like to see it go from there.
Well, clearly, I don't want them to lose the gravitas of it, right? Let's bring that same level of commitment and kind of going deep. But I do want to see them take this in Apocalypse direction, because I want to see a true fans depiction, that specifically this director's depiction of Apocalypse in animation, and to see how it varies against the Apocalypse that I was introduced to in the X-Men franchise.
Well,
The last X-Men.
real quick interruption. I have good news and I got bad news for you. They're definitely going Apocalypse, but it ain't the same guy. So it ain't the same guy writing it. So it's not gonna.
no.
Season 2
Lou
was written by
DeMaio
him.
did 1 and 2.
He
He
one and
wrote
two.
seasons 1 and 2.
He
He did
said
Already.
season
he
3,
did
which
some of
they're
it.
actually producing right now.
Yeah, 1
He
and
did
2 is under DeMaio.
some.
3 is not.
Right.
Yeah. So okay, so we got Scott wants the Apocalypse. We want the good Apocalypse, not Oscar Isaac Apocalypse. We want the good stuff.
Correct.
All right, what you got, man? What are you looking forward to? What
Looking
storyline
forward to
would you like to see?
Apocalypse.
Mhm.
Looking forward to Apocalypse. And
You like
really
the
looking
Age of
forward.
Apocalypse or just
No,
anything?
just seeing Apocalypse.
Mhm.
Bringing him in. And yeah, no. Really want to see what they're gonna do with Wolverine now
Yeah.
without the
Are they going
adamantium.
bone claws?
Yeah.
I'm
Are they
really
gonna go-
curious at what direction they're gonna take him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Derek, what you got, man?
I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with the old Ascani son storyline. That's actually gonna be pretty good. So, uh, and how Bishop and how Bishop and Forge are
Nathan.
gonna figure out how to bring them back to the present day. That's going to be real interesting. I like the way they did that, and because on the old series, it was them two that were planning the whole missions to go back in time to change certain things. So they're getting back to them two doing that. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do to get them back to present day. And I'm wondering what happened to Wolverine in this whole situation. Did he go back in time with? I'm
Well,
wondering
he
if
was
he went
on the
back in time with.
asteroid. He
He's
was
on
there, so I don't
Earth
know if they didn't show him in that final
after them.
where he
Yeah.
landed, so we don't know
Yeah.
yet.
So if he landed back in time,
Like
that's going to
savage,
lead
savage
to
Wolverine. Man.
apocalypse. But then again, where they going to get the adamantium? Yo, yeah, this is a mind fuck on me. So
Mm,
yeah, I'm invested in this Scotty Son storyline and see how they're going to do what they're going to do with that.
nice.
Yeah. Real quick, can I mention some honorable mentions before you talk about what you're getting ready to talk about?
No.
Thanks. Okay, I was just asking.
No,
Yeah.
go ahead. Well, I mean, you asked, so that means I had the ability to say no. But yeah, go ahead.
So I wanted to do some honorable mentions when it came to us talking about our favorite scenes.
Hmm.
My second one, of course, when we was talking about it, the whole storm, giving the forecast.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
whole thing, dude, I was like, yo, that's all
Hmm.
I needed to see
That was
right
a
there.
hell of an
The way
introduction
she
for
did,
her.
the
Mm-hmm.
way she called down the thunder and turned the sand to glass, and then tornado shards,
Mm-hmm.
and then dealt with the I'm to you. You talk about an omega level threat. Yeah, that's it right there,
Hmm.
man. I'm telling you, that whole scene was fire.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep. Agreed.
but go for it, Rick.
That's it. You said you had a couple things.
No. That was the honorable mention. I
Okay,
wanted.
Oh,
I got you.
Spider-Man,
I want to give him the honorable mention.
Spider-Man and MJ popping up.
Spider-Man, MJ,
Okay.
Daredevil, Cloak and
Mhm.
Dagger, Iron Man, Doctor Strange.
There were so many
Um,
cameos. I was
you
going to get to
know,
the
Yeah,
cameos. Was actually
man.
on my
Silver
list. That's
Samurai.
Silver
Uh,
Samurai,
mhm,
Omega Red. You
yep.
mhm,
know, and these aren't
Uh,
not the cameos from Morph. Like these are actual real cameos
mhm.
that they were
yeah.
able to squeeze in without distracting you from the main story.
Yep.
I actually thought they were really fun to see.
Yep. I
Dark
can't.
Star,
Yeah.
a decent looking Crimson Dynamo.
Hmm.
Man, that was I was very impressed to see it. I was very impressed with what they did with Crimson Dynamo, how they drew him out.
So that was actually you kind of beat me to the punch on that, but that was actually kind of my look forward to in season 2 is
Mhm.
doing something more with those, whether they decided to continue in X-Men or spin them off into their own stuff, maybe bring back like a Spider-Man 97 or whatever the hell they want to call it, 99, or I think it would be, because I think it's in 98, but like spin off into that, bring back the
Yeah.
Daredevil cartoon. Like if they can continue the same momentum, the same feel, the same vibe, and bring back those old cartoons to build off of, I'm down for it. Now, I'm going to say something that in the nerd realm could be very sacrilegious, but I would really like to see them redo some of the old stuff. Like, as much as I love the Phoenix Saga in the original series, and that was one of my favorite comic story arcs, I would like them to see them redo it with this current level of gravitas and seriousness that they're
But
treating
that
the
make
current comic.
I get what you're saying.
Not
Doesn't make
necessarily
sense.
that, not to
You
change the
can't though
timeline,
because it's
but they
done
could.
already.
But Dark Phoenix keeps coming back multiple times
But
throughout
not
comic
that
story
story. But it
arcs.
would be a totally
That's what I'm
different
saying. But do
Phoenix
something with that. Like,
storyline.
do something. Not the original. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, build off of that and do something with that. I want to see that because it was good in the original one. Like the original comics, if you go back and read them, they're very campy. They're not like the dark, like parts of it are very small. It's a very campy comic story arc. The original one kind of made it more adult. The original cartoon series made it more adult. I want that again. Like, wash it again and make it a little more adult. Like, do something else to it to make it a little more darker and deeper. And not just that, but like the Age of Apocalypse stuff. Like, they don't have to do a direct remake of it, but they could shoot off of an edge of it. They're doing time travel now. That allows them to go back and do a different view of the Age of Apocalypse cartoon that we saw when we were kids. I want that darker.
They didn't do an Age
dirtier.
of Apocalypse cartoon.
The episode
Wolverine and the X-Men, they ended
They
Wolverine and the
teased
X-Men. They
it
teased him
coming,
into it. Yeah,
and then they canceled the season.
right.
The
Yeah.
Age of Apocalypse is a very specific storyline. Wolverine has one hand. Cyclops is a bad guy with one eye.
Yep.
You know,
The hair. Well, I think it's was it because his head. They had his hair. They did his hairstyle different with it
Yeah.
draped down the side of his face.
that is something
that they could
I
touch
would
now.
like to see done.
Mm-hmm.
I was really looking forward to Wolverine and the X-Men season 2
Yeah.
when they
Season
teased that.
3. It was season 3.
Mm-hmm.
No, season Wolverine and the X-Men had one season.
I thought they had 2 seasons.
Wolverine, maybe I think Evolution had 2. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not too sure, but Wolverine and the X-Men had one
Evolution had 3.
season. Yeah, so Wolverine and X-Men had one season and
I
then
know they
was
had. Yeah.
So that's what
very
I'm saying.
disappointing.
That's what I would like to see is like some of that, like
Yeah.
not necessarily a remake of the original, but a build off of the original and make it a little darker. And like we're saying, the Age of Apocalypse, like actually put that on the screen with the time traveling there now. They have Apocalypse now. Like
Yeah.
let's get that shit rolling. Let's see
But they-
that on screen.
But they brought a little bit of that story into the current season, the Age of
Mhm.
Apocalypse story, because Magneto and Rogue were in a relationship in Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah, but they were
and that's
also in a
where
relationship in regular
Previously,
timeline too.
yeah. So
In the regular MCU time, MCU. Oh wow, I don't believe I said that. In the
Earth
regular,
or
in the
whatever.
regular Marvel
Marvel
timeline,
yeah.
they've had a
Okay.
relationship also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So that's what I'm kind of looking forward to. I think they did a really good job. Like we said, we all gave it a good score. I'm hoping that those that are Legends collectors really get some great figures out of this. And I just can't wait to look to see where it goes. And I really hope they put it out on DVD box set so I can add it to my collection.
Yeah.
they will.
And by the way, Roberto's mom is Mystique. Mark my words. I'm telling y'all, that's Mystique. y'all think it's the other chick. I'm telling y'all right now. Mark my words. Roberto's mom is Mystique. Y'all are not seeing the signs of that. I'm telling you, she's
All right.
Mystique.
Let's see if I can
Right.
get through this next part without fucking it all up. So let's go and run it down. So don't forget to check out the other shows on the Realm of Collectors YouTube channels. You got Monday night, you got ETR. Every other Tuesday now, y'all are doing Do You Even Transform?
Transform, bro.
Wednesday nights alternates between Shelf Gravy and Figure Banging. Every other Friday night's Us. And then they have the pop-up shows like right out the box whenever they feel like it and doing stuff like that. And we do the hangouts every once in a while, so you can look for those links every once in a while in the group. They'll pop up randomly
on Friday.
And then also don't forget, was it August 25th through the 28th? Did I get the dates right? 23rd. God damn, I was close, man. And I don't have access to that. I was close. 23rd through the 25th, we're having the Realm Nation Live, the test shots that they're going to be doing at New Jersey Comic Con in Cherry Hill, New Jersey at the Hilton, I believe. So try to make time for that. There's going to be a Rock Box announcement sometime between now and then. It's going to be a fun time. Try to get everybody together, come out and hang out with the Realm and meet people you haven't met, hang out with old friends and family there that you haven't seen in a little while.
Yeah.
And it should be a good time, man. Other than that, I think that's about it. We miss you, Wolfie, miss you, Gort. Can't wait to see y'all on the next one. Appreciate you, Scott, for being here. Thanks for stepping in and filling the gap.
Thank you very much,
there.
bro.
We appreciate you.
Anytime,
EE, we
guys.
appreciate your showcase. It's always nice to see those old comics that we grew up on, man.
Yeah.
It's good times, man. And, good job taking care of them. Real quick before I move to Derek, EE, what's the score?
Just keep going.
Okay, so it's bad. Knicks are losing. Derek, appreciate you, man. It's always fun to hang out and bullshit.
Yes,
I like to bust your chops because at your age you'll forget I did it by the next time we hang out together. So it's cool. Shout out to our families and our loved ones, and I think we're gonna wrap it up and get out of here. Right? What did I forget? What did I miss? Go to Realm of Collectors.
There'll be a hangout.
There'll be a hangout. He's going to put out a link for everybody. Come in there and bullshit. It'll be unbroadcasted. So feel free to act a fool on there and drink all you want to,
Hey,
Fit
Ricky.
right in.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ricky.
Yeah, bud.
When you went down through the realm line down, I'm going to give that from a scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to give you a 9.5 because you got the date wrong for Realm Nation. So
Dude,
yeah,
that was off the top of my head. That was off the top of my head. I don't have access to that thing that he just showed.
I would take 7.5.
Yeah, I was almost at X-Men 97. I'll take that shit. So, so we appreciate y'all. Shout out to everybody. Nice. Nice. Shout out to everybody in the chat squad. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate all the interactions and everybody coming by and sharing the time with us and having fun. Come hang out with us in the unbroadcasted hangout if you can.
Yeah.
And we'll see y'all in the next time.
Say it with me now. Really?